Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chief Beere of the Oakland Police Department. Today we want to share Oakland's crime statistics for the first quarter of 2026 and talk about our 90-day crime reduction plan. However, I want to start with an extremely dangerous situation that threatened not only our community but our officers earlier this morning. So starting early today, there was subjects that were driving around Oakland committing robberies. We've been tracking this group for quite a few days now. We know that they're responsible for dozens of robberies throughout Oakland. We deployed additional resources throughout the city. We were able to spot the vehicle, at which point officers came in to make a stop. A pursuit ensued, and the occupant inside the vehicle fired a gun at officers. The pursuit was terminated for the safety of the overall public. However, I do want to let everyone know we have several strong leads in this case. We're partnering with the FBI and outside law enforcement officers, and I expect an arrest in the coming days, and we will be holding them accountable. Between January 1 and March 31st, 2026, Part 1 crimes dropped by 29% across the city compared to this time last year, which were already record low numbers. We're seeing reduction across nearly every crime category. Before we look at the numbers, I do want to recognize something that's very important. If you're the victim of a crime, these statistics may not reflect how you feel. We understand and we take it very seriously. At the same time, many of my neighbors, merchants, family, and other residents, and even visitors coming to Oakland, have expressed how safer it feels. This is through strong community partnerships, leadership from Mayor Lee, the City Administrator Justin Johnson, and the support of City Council, and the work with Chief Joshi and the Department of Violence Prevention. There's also should be noted that our partnership with other city departments has been stronger than ever. Through Mayor Lee's leadership and the city administrator, we've broken down the silos of communication, and we're working side by side with other city departments to provide the best service to the community that we can. Our officers are focused on making every neighborhood safe. Overall violent crime, which includes homicides, aggravated assaults, rapes, and robberies, are down 22%. Homicides are down 39% from the previous year, which were already record lows. It continues in a downward trend. In 2025, we lost 67 lives in this community. One life is one life too many. Of those 67 homicides, 11 were deemed justifiable. 67 homicides is the lowest we've seen since 1985. For murders, we saw 56. This was the lowest we've seen since the late 60s. Aggravated assault is also down 14%. Robberies are down 30%. Rape is down over 50%. And burglaries are down 53%. While overall crime continues to downward trend, we are monitoring a slight uptick in residential robberies and robberies involving weapons other than firearms and knives. The incident that we spoke about earlier is a representative of what's challenging our city right now. We also know that every crime does not get reported, and we understand why that's a concern. It is something that OPD, other law enforcement in the Bay Area, the state, and throughout the country consider when talking about crime statistics. We have our data on reported incidents because that's the most consistent and reliable way to track overall crime trends. While potential underreporting may occur, the data helps us identify patterns, deploy resources effectively, and measure progress. Still, we want everyone to know that we strongly encourage you to call the police department and report crimes. This helps victims get the support and strengthens our overall response. We've stepped up our efforts along International Boulevard to address human trafficking and prostitution. This year alone, we've conducted 66 targeted investigations and have arrested over 81 people engaged in prostitution activity. Besides enforcement, we've also focused on supporting victims and connecting them with services and support. These efforts have not only helped us address prostitution, but we do know that other crimes are associated with this, to include violent crime and robberies. And we've seen a drastic reduction in violent crime and robberies along the International Boulevard as well. This showcases our officers' commitment to disrupting exploitation, holding offenders accountable, and improving safety in our city. OPD continues to make strong progress in removing firearms from our community. So far this year, Oakland police officers have recovered over 310 firearms. It should be noted, the firearms that I'm talking about are assault rifles, machine guns, pistols that are fully automatic with switches, pistols that are sometimes constructed in a way to prevent them from looking like a gun, such as cell phones and other objects, and homemade firearms. Each firearm recovered means a possible act of violence prevented, and our community is safer. On April 18th, Mayor Lee and Pastor Dixon, along with Paula Hawthorne, are hosting a gun buyback program that will take place at 8915 International Boulevard at Thy Word Ministries. It's very important because it's not just proactive efforts from the police officers on the street taking guns off of criminals engaging in criminal activity, but it's also working with the community to take guns off the street voluntarily. So the progress that we've seen is a direct result from the proactive work and dedication of our officers. These reductions, again, reflect the hard work of the women and men of the Oakland Police Department, which today is a strong reminder that when they come to work, they face potential extreme danger. And a large part, specialized units have contributed to the reduction of crime. Our ceasefire section, special resource section, communications, criminal investigations division, the intelligence unit, and of course, patrol, who are the backbone of the police department. We'd also like to thank our community-based organizations, local businesses, law enforcement partners, and most especially the community members, our residents, our business owners, and all the community leaders that have helped us get to where we're at right now. We're encouraged by the progress, but we still have a lot of work ahead. And we're going to be committed to building upon those gains. Now I'll hand things over to Assistant Chief Casey Johnson, who will talk about our 90-day crime reduction plan.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon. I'm Assistant Chief Casey Johnson with the Oakland Police Department. Like the Chief said, I'm going to go over our 90-day crime plan and talk about the strategies we'll be deploying to continue to reduce violence here in the city of Oakland. I'll be giving a high-level overview, and I'll start off with our sideshow deployment. Historically, sideshows plagued the city of Oakland. One of our deployments is to increase our sideshow deployment every weekend from 3 squads to 4 squads. So you will see more officers on the streets every weekend of 4 squads, 4 sergeants, and 1 lieutenant to combat sideshow. Since 2024, the Oakland Police Department has seized over 300 vehicles contributed to sideshow. Not only will we be focusing on the sideshow, but we'll also be focusing on our dirt bikes and ATVs that have plagued the city as well. Recently, the police department has seized 15 dirt bikes and ATVs, and most of those are seized outside the city of Oakland. So we'll be using technology and intelligence to continue to drive those numbers up. If you come to the city of Oakland to ride your dirt bikes or ATVs illegally, we will find you, and we will hold you accountable, and we will arrest you. The Oakland Police Department is also going to be putting on a dual-purpose school, where we'll be putting 15 officers through that school that are going to be trained to ride on dual-purpose motorcycles to increase our dual-purpose ridership, and they will be specifically focusing on dirt bike and ATV enforcement for those who want to come to the city of Oakland to try and victimize and ride dirt bikes throughout our city of Oakland. Next, we will be running a 60-day blitz operation with our federal partners, ATF, FBI, and DEA, to focus on the reduction of gun violence. If you come to the city of Oakland and you're in possession of a firearm or you use a firearm, we will be charging you federally and working with our federal partners to ensure that you are held accountable. Lastly, We'll be ramping up our street patrols to focus on the upcoming holidays such as Cinco de Mayo, May Day, and Memorial Day. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mayor Lee.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. Thank all of you for being here. Today we're sharing this update on Oakland's public safety progress, and the message is very clear that our strategies are definitely working. Now, crime, as you heard, continues to trend downward, with violent crime down, homicides down, and there are significant declines across other major categories. But even with one act of violence, that's one act too many. These numbers, however, mean that fewer lives are lost, fewer families grieving, and safer neighborhoods. But every number represents a person, and we will not stop until every Oaklander feels and is safe. This progress is the result of a comprehensive, all-hands-on-deck approach: law enforcement, violence prevention, crisis response, and community partnerships. It's OPD's officers on patrol, it's violence interrupters preventing conflicts, macro responses connecting people to care, and community members stepping up for one another. And we back this strategy with real investments, even in a tough budget year, because public safety is our top priority. Just as importantly, we are investing in prevention, especially for our young people. We're expanding the Mayor's Summer Youth Job Employment Program, awarding 9 grants totaling $1.5 million to create more job opportunities for Oakland's youth. And we're proud to announce that the OPD Cadet Program is officially back, and applications are open now. With up to $900,000 in funding from PG&E and Kaiser Permanente, thankfully, this program will provide paid experience, professional training, and a direct pathway into public safety careers for Oakland young adults starting in May. This is how we build lasting safety, by creating opportunity and investing in the next generation. We're also continuing to strengthen accountability and to build trust, because progress only matters if it is sustained. Earlier this week, along with Brady, we released a new report that was compiled following its first of a kind last fall, our conference, the Bay Area Regional Mayors Conference on Gun Violence Prevention, which I convened right here in Oakland. The report concludes that recommendations on prevention and intervention and strategies on how we collectively can build a safer Bay Area are laid out in very clear points. But let me be clear, we're not declaring victory at all. We're staying focused. There is more work to do to ensure that every single neighborhood feels this progress and knows that this progress is real. We're committed to building on what's working. And also, as Chief Beere mentioned, I'll be joining a community-led gun buyback event. It's taking place in Oakland on April 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Word Ministries, 8915 International Boulevard. Oakland is moving in the right direction because we're doing this work together. And I just want to thank OPD, our chief, all of our community partners, all of our neighborhoods, all of our young people for helping us move forward and continue with this trajectory. Thank you again.
All right, with that, we'll open up for questions.
Just a question for
Dan.
Chief.
Hold on,
Can you tell us?
go to Dan.
Just a question about the 60-day blitz operation. Can you tell us what authorities are involved and what the goal is of that?
Absolutely. So we're going to be working with the FBI, DEA, and ATF. There's going to be ongoing operations. It's going to be kind of a different deployment than what we've used before. There'll be undercover operations. There'll be directed patrols, search warrants, follow-up investigations. We'll be using technology. We're really going to be targeting people that are engaging in violence that we know are buying and selling guns. So it's not just the people out in the street that are carrying guns. We're also looking at people bringing those guns into our community. So we're going to leverage the federal partners' resources so they can track that better. But also, it's really to look at the areas that are being most significantly impacted by violent crime. So in addition to the long-term investigations, there will be some short-term. That's why we're using the word blitz. Obviously, it's still going to be constitutionally based policing. It's going to be laser focused on intelligence-led But it's going to be partnered with the FBI, DEA, and ATF and OPD ceasefire section.
Chief, can you give us any update either on the double murder at Easy's or the Amy Hilliard search? We haven't heard a whole lot from you guys on that lately.
So, regards to the shooting at Easy's, that's still an ongoing investigation. There's some very strong leads. I will say we're looking to wrap up that investigation here in the near future. For the most part, everyone involved has been identified. There's just a couple of steps that I can't disclose during the course of this investigation right now, but I'm expecting the last arrest to happen soon. With regards to the missing person, I can tell you that the Oakland Police Department is treating this case as we would treat any other case involving a missing person seriously. Our investigators are following all our standing operating procedures and policies that we would for any missing person. For any additional details, I'm going to turn it over now to Deputy Chief Dazakiros. Thank you.
Can you say it's spelled?
Absolutely. Acting Deputy Chief Omar, O-M-A-R, and Dazakiros, D-A-Z-A-Q-U-I-R-O-Z. In regards to the missing person for Hilliard, who was lost or missing as of 1 week ago, we do have our special victims unit and our missing persons unit assigned to the investigation. We are currently investigating it as a missing persons. We have been in communication with the family, with friends, and with neighbors in the area. We have conducted several canvasses. After the request of the missing person's family, who contacted the Alameda County Sheriff's Department search and rescue team, a coordinated effort through the Alameda County Sheriff's Department search and rescue team was conducted. The family had initially requested a search, I believe back on the 25th, or 26th and 27th, when a search was conducted. Unfortunately, she was not located at that time. An additional search was requested by the family. That search was coordinated yesterday in the area of Diamond Park and Joaquin Miller. She was not located at that time. Today, our Special Victims Unit and Missing Persons Unit is coordinating with the family and trying to do as much follow-up as we can.
Just to follow up on that real quick, there was some concern initially that the missing report came out, missing persons report came out late, a few days late. Can you maybe talk about why there was some delay, or the word that people use in the community to announce that you guys were searching for this one?
So I am not aware of any delay. I can tell you that the case is being investigated as a missing persons investigation. We have 2 investigators assigned to this case, and we're following up on all the leads that we have right now.
Chief, back to the 90-day plan, can you talk about how you guys will implement that with overtime concerns, both with extra patrols during the holidays, but additionally with what am I looking for?
The dirt bikes?
Dirt bikes?
Yes, dirt bikes.
Okay, it's a great question. So we're obviously, our partnership with outside law enforcement agencies is huge for us, particularly with overtime. So what they do is they allow, with the CHP is also going to be part of that. The Blitz itself, the focus for the 90-day plan is in partnership with the FBI, DEA, ATF to focus on the crimes that are driven mostly by guns and those that are bringing the guns into our community. So the overtime really won't be affected by OPD. We will be supporting it. It's all being ran through our real-time operations center to make sure we deconflict and properly deploy the resources where we do need them. But what we really want to do is have more overlapping law enforcement services throughout the city. So while those operations are targeting the areas that we do know that crime, especially violent crime, is impacting our residents, we'll still have the California Highway Patrol helping out with traffic enforcement along our high injury network. We'll still have our ceasefire section focusing on those that are driving the majority of the violence in our city, which is a small group. We're going to partner with the Alameda County Sheriff's Department for our task forces to make sure that when the other investigations are not taking place, then we'll focus on, say, illegal casinos, locations where we know that drugs are being trafficked, and then to also keep up our operation enforcement along the International Boulevard. So that's why it's more of a blitz. So we're bringing in more resources that we normally don't have, and specialties and resources within the federal government that are going to allow us to make a deeper touch, a further touch, even if it's outside the city of Oakland.
Dan?
On February 23rd, 9 Alameda businesses and 7 Berkeley businesses, and at least we think the Domino's in Oakland were all burglarized by a similar crew. At least that's what Berkeley police were saying at that time. Is what happened this morning, do you believe, tied to that, or can you tell us anything about that? Because as we know, there are no boundaries, only regional policing.
Yeah, you and I have actually spoke about that pretty in depth recently, and I can't specifically because it's an open investigation, but I will tell you that we do know that this crew has been involved in burglaries as well as robberies, not just in Oakland, but surrounding areas like San Leandro, potentially Berkeley. You heard me spoke about the robbery statistics on a slight uptick. Sometimes it's not really utilizing firearms or knives. This crew is right in that wheelhouse. So I can't confirm specific locations. You mentioned actual names of businesses, but I will say you are correct that this group has targeted numerous businesses throughout Alameda County.
2 more questions. Can you tell us more about the OIS this morning? Was anyone hurt, and where did that take place?
Sure. So just for clarification, it wasn't an officer-involved shooting. This started out in West Oakland. However, the crew did then relocate to East Oakland, where they committed another robbery and potentially a burglary. We repositioned our resources and found them back in West Oakland, at which point officers were directed to stop them. They failed to stop, and that's when the pursuit took place. In fact, there was a lot of police officers converging on the area, at which point someone inside the car fired a gun at officers. Officers did not return fire. No one was hurt. Nothing was hit. However, because of the seriousness of the incident, I mean, this is a very dangerous situation. They called for all officers available to respond. So you had numerous officers converging. The pursuit continued. However, because of the situation, it's early in the morning, potentially dangerous for people coming to work and the rest of the community. We canceled the pursuit. We're very confident, though, that we'll be able to follow up on that. So we have to weigh the potential of someone getting hurt to our ability to arrest them at another location. So I will say, if they're out there, it's probably a good idea that you turn yourself in and stop what you're doing, because we are going to get you, and we have the information, and you're going to be seeing us here real soon.
Can you confirm that happened at 18th and Market, though?
The shooting actually did happen at 18th and Market.
Oh, sir.
Okay. It's great to hear that you guys' crime stats are going down. Barely explains that violence prevention has been a big part of this. What about in terms of Oakland OPD's solve rates? Are you guys, are those numbers up or down? Because I know that if you can maybe talk.
Great question. I'm glad you asked me that. Our solve rates are actually going considerably higher. In fact, in last year, our homicide rates were at 95%. 95% solve rate. So we do know that technology it's been a game changer for us, not just for our enforcement piece, but also, we have to leverage the technology due to the staffing shortages as well as our follow-ups. I'll give you an idea. When Flock came online, at the same time that we were able to get Flock, that first 18-month period, we saw a 43% reduction in robberies. It gives us so much data and evidence for our investigators to follow up on. They can build strong cases that can be brought to the DA's office to be charged. So yes, our solve rates are continuing to improve dramatically compared to what they were 4 years ago.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.